everyone, something that I decided to make is recording basically my recovery process from my ACL, meniscus, and MCL injury. I've decided to split this episode into parts. This is episode 1, part 1, the accident. Kitty is here. I've been getting a lot of questions from friends and families about what exactly happened, so that'll be the first part. I was playing in the Susquehanna Smash Grass Volleyball Tournament on August 1st through 3rd. I was playing in every single day. So Friday I was playing in men's B triples and we got first place. On the second day I was playing in women's doubles A division and we got 5th place. And on the third day, I was playing Revco doubles, and that was the day that I got injured. I think this is important to note because I was playing for more than 24 hours for 2 days straight, going into the third day, and I didn't really get like the best quality sleep. I didn't get the best quality food, and I was also not exactly hydrating the best. I think that this was definitely a factor into why my injury was so severe. But at the same time, I know that it was genuinely just an accident as well. On the very last day during Revco doubles, we were playing in the last game of pool play, and it was 16-16 side out scoring. So whoever won the next point would win because it was a cap at 17. I was going 110%, so a lot harder than I usually do, even in an average tournament. When it was 16-16, my partner sent me a ball that was tight to a net, and when I went to go up to hit it, I jumped very poorly and I landed poorly. So when I jumped up, I heard a crack, and when I landed, I heard a crack. When I landed, I was gasping in pain, and I immediately asked my partner to get my knee brace from my backpack because I definitely knew that I needed it to even walk and stand up. However, after 10 minutes, the pain wore off a bit and I thought it wasn't debilitating anymore, and so I decided to play 2 more points. On the second point, I jumped up to go hit a ball, and when I landed, I heard another crack. This time I knew it was over, so I stopped playing. We immediately went to a nearby hospital in Pennsylvania, and they checked me for fractures or dislocations. Luckily, I didn't have any fractures or dislocations, but I would have to wait until I got back to New York City to get my MRI. That's it for part 1. Hi everyone, welcome to part 2. This is the week after the injury. So that first night, my friends and I drove back to New York City from Pennsylvania, and right when I got to my apartment, I could feel the pain. It was a stabbing pain, and definitely like shot all from my knee all the way to the rest of my body. I had a really difficult time sleeping that first night, and I kept waking up from the pain. I remember when I was walking around, it felt pain as well. Putting any pressure on it felt pain. I was wearing a knee immobilizer from the hospital, which prevented me from bending my knee. When I woke up that first day, I told my work that I had an injury over the past weekend and that I would be working remotely, and they were very nice about it. Luckily, I do work remotely most of the week anyways, so that part wasn't that bad for me, but things like running errands or playing sports or doing any kind of physical activity hurt a lot for the first week. I remember I was really anxious the first couple days as well. I was really cold all the time and I wore a jacket even though it was around 95 degrees in New York City at the time. I had a lot of difficulty bending my knee, aka flexing. However, I still worked out every day. Even the day right after I got injured, I went to the gym in my apartment, which is in the basement, and I did my upper body. So I did like pull-ups, bench press, whatever. But I couldn't really do any leg movement at all. The second day, I asked my Revco doubles partner about any kind of physical therapy exercise I could potentially do to strengthen my leg. And he mentioned doing heel slides, quad sets, and leg raises. And so I did around 300 reps of each exercise. I also had my ortho doctor appointment on that second day at Tuesday, and he performed a Walkman's test on my knee, and he said that it was inconclusive. However, he did mention that he was 80% sure that I tore my meniscus. Regardless, I continued doing these exercises for a while, And by day 6, so around Friday and Saturday, I was able to change to a knee brace that my mom got me. Thank you, Mom. That was allow me to still bend my knee, flex a little bit, and walk around. I also no longer felt any type of pain or soreness while walking. The exercises were also getting easier for me. That's it for part 2. Hi everyone, welcome to part 3, the MRI and the results. I got my MRI done the Thursday after my first week. By this time, I was getting a lot more mobile and I was able to walk around with my new knee brace, and it was also able to go up and down the stairs. However, going down caused a little bit of pain. I started doing the elliptical as well as the stationary bike, and I also did my PT exercises at night as well. It is important to note that the first couple of pedals and the first couple of steps, it definitely hurt. It was like a sharp pain the first couple times, but then after the first 5 pedals, it was gone. I was also able to do box squats and do RDLs and very basic strength training exercises as well. I had searched up a bunch of random PT exercises online for ACL recovery, just in case, and I started doing 1 to 2 hours of these exercises at night. I felt so good at this point that I didn't even think I needed to cancel my registration for the October Brooklyn Half Marathon, or even cancel my registration for the November full marathon in Brooklyn. At this point, really the only things that I couldn't do was run, jump, or pivot. I remember I even went to office that week in person, and I remember I was walking around in high heels, going through the New York City subways, going upstairs, going downstairs, and everything was fine. On Monday, August 18th, I met with my ortho doctor the second time. He told me my MRI results had come back, and he told me I had a full ACL tear, a full meniscus tear, a sprained MCL, and a lot of bone bruising. Now, when he told me all this, I was really shocked because I thought I was doing really well. I didn't have any more pain. Swelling had gone down a lot, and I was able to walk fine without a brace sometimes. I remember I started crying in the office, and I also couldn't breathe for a while. It was generally just such a shock to my system because I thought I was doing so well and I was able to do so many things without pain. Yet somehow there were so many things that were wrong with my knee. That's it for part 3. Hi everyone, welcome to part 4, the Prehab truly begins, aka I start physical therapy. The same day when I got my MRI results back, I went back home and I think I cried for 2 hours straight. But after that, I went to the gym. My main thing is that even though I was emotionally downhill, I refused to let my body go downhill as well. One of the things I love most in the entire world is going to the gym, and that's exactly what I did. Instead of recording my volleyball videos like I usually do, I started recording my prehab routine / exercises and putting them on my YouTube channel. I was able to find a physical therapy office that was close to my apartment as well, within walking distance, and that's where my prehab officially begun. Now, what is prehab? Prehab or prehabilitation is a rehabilitation program that one does before surgery. When preparing for an operation, prehab helps patients enter surgery in the strongest possible condition to improve post-operative outcomes. For ACL injuries, this improves your chances by around 70%. I started off with doing exercises that were actually similar to the ones I searched up online randomly, but I was also prescribed exercises that focused on specific aspects of improving my knees, such as extension, flexion, and working on different lower body muscle groups such as the quads, the calves, the hamstrings, and glutes. It was during this time that I started developing routine. I was able to do swimming, biking, and elliptical for cardio, and I did my prehab exercises and other leg strengthening exercises to improve my overall strength and mobility. I also didn't neglect my upper body, so I continued doing things like pull-ups, bench press, etc. That's it for part 4. Hello, welcome to part 5, finalizing the surgery and more prehab. Around the 4th week after my injury, I started looking for a surgeon. My dad was actually the one who found the surgeon for me. Thank you, Dad. I met the surgeon and I really liked him. He was respectful and he really showed me how ACL injuries happen and how ACL and meniscus surgeries work, as well as what kind of graft that I would get. He personally recommended the patellar tendon graft, and based on my own personal research, that was also the graft that I wanted to get as well. Basically, they will cut off a section of your patellar tendon from your own body and insert it into where the ACL would be. They are often used for high-level athletes who want to return to sports as quickly as possible and compete at their highest levels. They also promote bone-to-bone healing and are especially good for young and active patients such as me. Now, as for the prehab, in total, starting from the injury, I had 6 weeks of prehab. My knee and strength have improved drastically since then. By working with my physical therapist, I was able to improve my degree of extension from 18 degrees to 3 degrees. My PT did mention that I had a bit of atrophy going into prehab, but right now I have regained pretty much 95%. One of the biggest reasons for my good recovery during prehab is because I was really pushing myself during prehab. I was pushing my leg down past the point of discomfort and really pushing through the pain. I work out around 2 to 3 times a day, and my sessions range from 15 minutes to 2 hours. For example, I would often go for a swim in the morning, and then I would do my leg strengthening workout, and then followed by my prehab exercises at night. I have also been able to do heavier compound movements such as deadlifts, RDLs, hip thrusts, but as of now, I am not allowed to do squats. I am also doing these exercises definitely not anywhere close to my max weight. I don't even have any pain when I do the elliptical or cycling anymore. The only thing that really hurts me right now is when I accidentally pivot on my left leg, or if I really push myself at the lowest and highest degrees of my extension or flexion. That's it for part 5. Stay tuned for part 6, which is the final video. Hi everyone, welcome to part 6, my mental health and waiting for my surgery day. My surgery is currently scheduled for September 18th, but in the meantime, I have been working at my job as usual. I've been doing my gym exercises, doing my PT and prehab, and I've also started coaching. I started coaching a 7th grade girls volleyball team, and it's something that I personally find very rewarding. For me, it's really fun to see young athletes and help them out and kind of developing their love for the sport and also developing their skills at the same time. It's just fun seeing people love a sport that you also love too. As for my mental health, it's been up and down for sure, but it's definitely a lot better than the first 3 weeks. I was unable to play in a lot of tournaments in August and in September, and I really had to cancel a lot of my registrations as well. For example, I couldn't play in the 9-man nationals tournament this year for my team during Labor Day weekend. I remember I watched all of my friends go and seeing everything on Instagram and feeling like I missed out a lot. But at the same time, I almost didn't really want to see anybody because the moment I did, I knew that I would just feel like I was missing out even more if I went in person. The other thing is that I personally really love playing grass volleyball, more so than even indoor or beach. And now that August is over, I basically missed out on the rest of the grass volleyball season as well. But I think the hardest thing is that I use volleyball as a way to meet new people and make new friends. I had just moved to New York City a month before my accident. Before coming to New York City, I only knew 5 people here. And not having that one thing to meet new people meant that A, I couldn't continue meeting new people, and B, the people that I did know, it was very difficult to continue seeing them. I did know a couple other people in volleyball, maybe like 50 other people, but I didn't really know them to the point where I would be like, hey, do you want to talk to me about this? Or, oh, do you want to go to the movies with me? Or do you want to grab food with me? Usually I have kept myself basically occupied with work, with my hobbies. I have a gazillion other hobbies, and talking to my friends back home. Through all this, I know that if anybody is going to come back from an injury, it's going to be me. I have like some of the biggest thighs ever, and for once they might actually help me quite a bit. However, I think the fact that I need to take 9 months minimum off of a sport is something that hurts me a lot. But I do know that when I come back, it's just gonna be that much more enjoyable. And that's it for episode 1. Episode 2 will be post-surgery, and just stay tuned for that.